You're welcome to this lecture. My name is Ssebuyungo Wilber Kivekayunga. I'm the lecturer of Nkumba University. I'm also the managing director and consultant with Action Entrepreneurs. In this lecture, we're going to specifically focus on human resource management and concentrating on national and international human resource management concepts. A little background: I'm the front runner and the front driver of the National Enterprise Program, which focuses on growing young entrepreneurs and managers, women entrepreneurs and managers, and also growing national enterprise development and international development. These programs are held on radio stations, on televisions, and also in communities to reach out to the various organizations that need the services that can enable them to do development and the community development for socio-economic progress of their organizations and the community at large. Just as I've mentioned before, I'm a lecturer at Nkumba University and I specialize in fundamental courses, and those are the functional courses which others call professional courses. I also teach and lecture entrepreneurship and management courses. These programs and this program is also fronted by the Action Entrepreneurs and which works with planning, management, and it also holds a hand in international development and propels education and consultancy services, and where I am the managing director and the consultant. This program here we're going to share is sponsored by Nkumba University, Radio Caro FM, Action Entrepreneurs, Little Me International School, and Tiny Treasures Preschool. The contents of this program, and we are going to start with the introduction and then the human resource planning. We're also going to focus on international and organizational structures and the job analysis and work analysis, then recruitment and selection, that is in the first phase, and then the other phase we are going to focus on outsourcing and insourcing services, then human resource policies and contents. We also going to share about human resource development, which many people call training, and organizational human resource development. We're going to focus on performance appraisals and job profiling in the later sections. And then we're also going to focus on work contracts and agreements, changes and concerns in the human resource management worldwide, and internationalizing human resource workforce. Then we are also going to look at organizational restructuring, then motivation and benefits management. So in this section, we are going to focus on human resource planning, organizational structure, job analysis and work analysis, and also recruitment and the selection of workers. And then focusing on the introduction of this course unit. This course unit is prepared to enable you to develop the knowledge and the skills and even values of managing people at various stages within the national and international context. So people management is one of the functions of general management. So it is a function within the general management office, and these functions of general management office are summarized by the what we call the proposals of the functions of human resource management by Henry Fayot Garrick. I have also worked towards making sure that we expand the post-decorb, which did not have double letters, and to doubling them. So the post-decorb has been expounded in the current studies to double P or double S, D, then CO, we have 4, and then the R and B. So P, as a function of management, the General Management Office stands for planning, and then that means that management has got to plan, then policy making for the other P, and then organizing, and then staffing, supervision, directing, coordination, cooperation, communication, and controlling. Then we also have the R for reporting and budgeting, B. So you'll be able to learn the various strategies of managing the human resource planning process, and also job planning, work analysis, and then you also be able to plan for policies, when you can be able to formulate policies in the organization of your deployment so that the human resource flows properly. Remember that human resource function in the post-decob we have seen before is part of the human resource endeavor, which is about staffing. However, it goes ahead to make sure that instead of only staffing, it goes ahead to manage the staff and managing all the people who are involved in the organization. So that's why we call it people management, which others call human resource management. So we'll be able to handle the various human resource issues and challenges that enables the organization to make sure that when these challenges are handled, then there is increasing productivity and effectiveness of the workforce, and also making sure that the workforce gets to achieve its goals as the organization also achieves the goals. So the two must strike a balance, and they also achieve as human resource as people achieve, the organization also achieves along. As the organization achieves its goals, even the people in the organization should be enabled to achieve their own goals. So we expect you to learn to develop the approaches that satisfy the workforce, the customers, the suppliers, and other stakeholders within the organization. So this course unit here is a blend of the national and international concepts, as well as preparing you to enable the personnel or the people working in the organization to make sure that there is increasing profitability, increasing revenues, increasing assets, because people have been managed well and they are also enjoying the workplace, as well as propelling forward all the activities of the workplace. Now let us focus on human resource planning. Now, organizations are endeavoring to make sure that there is a plan upon which the human resource is pivoted. So that means that human resource has got to set up what we call a plan to make sure that all the current and the future needs of the organization are taken care of. So focusing and forecasting the current and the future needs of the organization is very key. And all these ideas that are necessary in projecting what the future needs of the organization are, right from the current needs, is very essential. And all these ideas are prepared and presented in the human resource plan. So human resource plan is part of the organizational strategic plan, but mainly this one is focusing on the human resource aspect of the organization. So the organization needs to analyze the internal needs and the external needs so that it prepares itself well in the way of projecting and forecasting the future needs of it, as time goes on, what will be required in the future according to the strategic plan, and the human resource plan can, based on the strategic plan, to forecast what will be needed in the future. So the right number of employees are planned for, and then the right quality of the employees in terms of knowledge, skills, and values are also forecasted and planned for. Then the right positions and the right cost of labor are also forecasted and planned for. So this is done to enable the organization achieve its established vision, mission, objectives, and goals through the human resource section, because human resource section is viewed as an engine that drives all the other factors of production, including land, including all resources, and including everything that pertains to this organization. The human resource section has got to make sure that they run smoothly. So the role of human resource planner can be summarized under attraction, which means that the human resource planner looks at recruiting and selecting the best employees to fill the right position and in the right numbers and with the right qualities in the right time. Then to retain these workers. Retention is very central so that there is reduction in employee turnover, and so that employee turnover is not high. Employee turnover means that the number of employees leaving the organization in relation to those that were in the organization earlier. So when employees increasingly leave the organization, it means that the employee turnover is going higher. That is a reflection that there is an internal problem within the management of the organization or the human resource management. So retain, train, and in training, the human resource planner plans for training needs of the organization, skilling the employees, and evaluating what you call appraising these employees to see where the gaps are, and undertakes what we call gap analysis to ensure that employees are trained appropriately according to the need, and then also prepares their reward as they do and go ahead serving. The other is to prepare human resource policies and manage employee programs as they may be coming on board. So the human resource planner undertakes policy designing and also overseeing that these policies are actually followed within the organization, and any form of deviation, the human resource manager and human resource planner is concerned. And then management of employee programs is also very key so that the employees are managed within what is programmed. Then develop and manage compensation programs. So the compensation structure has got to be put in place in relation to the organizational structure so that the employees are compensated, and the compensation plan is the program is already laid. So the other is to consider all employment roles, regulations, and mainstreaming, then maintaining a just position where employees are managed with justice and also consideration of mercy, so that there is no collisions, points of conflicts, and where they exist, they have to be eliminated or even prevented or cured. So there is a curative measure, preventive measure, and eliminative measure. So the other aspect is to monitor and evaluate the human resource matrices, and in the human resource matrix we actually observe that there is a need to improve welfare of employees and the effectiveness of the organizational strategies as well. So when employees are monitored, evaluated, and then their welfare is also taken care of, and the effectiveness of the organization becomes easy to attain, the organization becomes effective. So in our continuous engagement in this, we're going to focus also on human resource analysis. So in human resource analysis, when you're preparing an organizational plan, which is specifically human resource plan, you must make sure that you construct an organizational structure. And in your forefront, you're seeing this organizational structure ranging from the board of directors. For example, I'm taking an organization structure of IREX. For example, I'm creating IREX here as an example, which has the board of directors at the top, then the managing director who is reporting to the board of directors, then the station manager, and then the station manager is working closely with the enterprise development consultant to make sure that here the enterprise development consultant can be of help to the station manager on issues of developing the institution. So under here, you are also able to see that under the station manager, there you have the technical manager, the production manager, finance and procurement manager. We are also having the marketing officer and the operations officer here. So all these are under the station manager. I extracted this one specifically to show you, for example, if it was a radio station or a television station, then this structure would best work. And then under the technical manager, there are technicians who should report to him, and the production manager in the studio affairs of production, they are presenters, they are musical producers, journalists, and the news anchors and the news editors. So you are also able to tell that under the finance and the procurement manager, there are also accountants and the store assistants. You can have bankers, the depositors, and the withdrawers. You can expand the chain further, but this is what you are able to show you here. So you're able to also see that under the marketing officer, we have the salesman. These are the salesmen, or the truck drivers, the agents in the field, and those the club and media officers. Those are in charge of clubs, the listeners or the viewers clubs, those clubs, and the media managers who are managing media engagements, and then the innovation, the officer in charge of innovations within the organization. Then operations officer is in charge of security, for this case, security staff. Office assistants is also in charge of the hygiene staff. Those are cleaners, the ones that are working around to ensure that there's hygiene. And also you are able to see here that is also in charge of the secretary. So organization structures basically to cause orderliness in the organization, but you also need to focus on the principles of organization structure according to Max Weber, and the principles according to Henry Fayol, principles according to Garrick, principles also according to the various scholars. We have also added, personally, have also contributed more on these principles of management, and they are captured under practices in management and planning if you need to look at them. So here the organizational structure is flowing right from top to bottom, and that is the flow of authority flowing from top to bottom, and usually we use arrows pointing downwards to reflect the top management, the middle line, and the bottom management. So this organizational structure should be accompanied by specifying roles played by each of the positions, and then the processes by which the roles are played, and also how each position coordinates with all other positions. This kind of order is what makes the company an organization. However, short of this order, then the organization no longer qualifies to have its name organization. If the organization is operating in disorder, then it becomes a disorganization other than an organization. So let us look at projecting the human resource needs, for example, of a media house. So in projecting human resource needs, the organization can forecast and look at what will be the needs of the organization in the next 6 months, or in the next 1 year or 3 years. That's what we call forecasting. You can see that the station manager for this case is going to be maintained as one all through from month 1 to month 7, and maybe can also spread to year 3 with one station manager. However, the administrators are going to be 2, the programs director is going to be 1, but we can now see that an organization can choose to increase its human resource base somewhere in a projected month or a projected year, basing on factors such as increasing listenership, increasing services and reach, enrollment of learners if it was a school, basing on the need to expand sections, such as a boarding section is brought into place which was not in existence before. So all those adjustments that come in also have an effect on human resource, and the human resource in terms of numbers, which also affects in terms of cost of labor, and widening the scope of the manager's role, the human resource manager's role. So there we can now see that the human resource is projected. The organization projects these needs by constructing an organizational structure. So it projects all activities that will occur in the future, and the organization is able to set up the human resource base, and how many human resource personnel will be required in the future time, and then the workload and the hours of work, and if the number of hours needed to deliver a certain volume of items or products. If the volumes and products needed are more, then it means that if a few people can only do that work, you need more people. So you need to recruit more people, and who have the right knowledge and the right skills, and the right values and the competencies to deliver such products or number of work. The workload, if the workload increases, then you can either increase the skills and knowledge of staff, or increase their number as well. Other organizations actually go ahead to increase the number of shifts per day. from 1 shift to 2 shifts to 3 shifts, each shift having 8 hours of working, so that the day has 3 shifts. Those are the 24 hours of working, to make sure that the organization is able to achieve its goals and objectives. So to project well human resource needs, one needs to have goals and objectives. Then we ask ourselves, what are the benefits of human resource planning? Human resource planning will enable talent development, because you're able to see to forecast the needs of the organization, so you can easily develop the talents or facilitate development of talents of workers. Then it also helps you to guide the strategic decision making. You make decisions based on a plan other than a guess. It is a baseline for targeted training and employee development. Then it also guides you to prepare for the future workforce needs, so the workforce needs are also prepared for. It forms the ground upon which risks are assessed and managed. Then you set a mitigation plan for such challenges or those risks that can be faced in the future. It enables management to actually manage the costs of labor and also costs arising due to time. It also facilitates a smooth route to a succession plan, where you know that at a particular point one of the employees may not be needed, or some of the employees will be needed. So the succession plan is laid clearly basing on the human resource plan. So we also guide these employees in their engagement, and also we guide management on how to set retention strategies for employees. So guiding and directing or facilitating employee activities becomes easier when there is a human resource plan. And even positioning and assigning rights of authority and power are also streamlined properly within the human resource plan. So it is a road to establishing data-driven approaches to decision making, and in the current times, making decisions is basing on data available. So when you do not have a human resource plan, then how can you actually do make decisions without data, without human resource data? You have branches, but you don't know who is working where. You don't know how many are working in a certain position, and how many workers do the organizations have, and arranged by position, arranged by remuneration, arranged by branch, and arranged by age, arranged by professionalism, arranged by different demographic data. So data-driven decision making is very central and is prepared for in the human resource management plan. So let us look at here in this section job analysis. A job analysis is a critical observation, critical thinking, and this is a reflection on the requirements of a specific job to remove possibilities of duplication. So we want to look at a job with very close observation and with critical thinking to reflect on the requirements that a specific job needs and a specific job has, so that we remove possibilities of duplication, possibilities of false and wrong judgment in deployment, false and wrong judgment in selection, job selection, and the guiding job description and job specification. So job analysis, we are really analyzing a job itself. So during this process, we need to establish what job is to be done. So specifically, you look at you specify the job category. We also look at how to do this job. So the how will enable you to define the job process. Then why it should be done. You define the purpose and the objective of having that job. Then the key attributes that the person doing the job should have. These attributes are what we call here the skills, the knowledge, and the values which define the characteristic of that person. Then the likely outcomes and indicators of a job well done. What do we base on to see that this job is well done? Those are the goals and the specific results, which others call indicators, or the key performance indicators. Then the resources required to undertake the job. What are these resources? The time span it takes one to have the job accomplished. What are the targets? Those targets in terms of time scope. So we need to take note that all these depend widely on the vision, mission, objectives, goals, and the culture of the organization. So human resource can also weave or design the vision, mission, objectives, goals, and the culture of the entire organization in consultation or with the strategic managers or directors of this organization. We also have another aspect which we call work analysis, and quite related to job analysis but different. So in work analysis, we set a systematic process of collecting and analyzing information used to understand the important tasks of a job. What are those important tasks or activities and conditions for which affect the work to be done or its execution? Then we also list the skills and physical conditions, the attributes of workers suitable for a job. So here we are looking at the work itself other than the entire position. We look at specific activities which are done which are undertaken, or these tasks that are undertaken while doing this job. So conditions for job execution are also considered and examined. The list of skills and competencies, the physical conditions around the workplace, and then the human attributes, the personality that can work in those environments. Remember that when it comes to gold mining and or copper mining, those are physical conditions which are different, which can be different from one who is going to do accounting in the office. The conditions are different. So while doing accounting in the office, one may not need to have helmet on their head. Yet someone who is doing mining will need a helmet on their head, or all other gears. So this information is integrated with the information that is got from job analysis to form a ground of creation of a job description and job specification. We are also able to, based on the information collected during job analysis and work analysis, to set a job process or procedures that one has got to undertake while doing the job. And we train this person with the background that we have done job analysis and we have also done work analysis. So highly technical jobs need highly skilled individuals, and therefore these are examined and analyzed to make sure that the job is monitored and evaluated in a simple and understandable way. That is because we have undertaken job analysis and work analysis. So we are going to link up in our next session. We're going to focus on data sources for work analysis. Where do we get data to analyze work? So analyzing work requires one to be as though is the one doing this job, this job. As though is the one who is doing this work. So data to inform both work analysis and the job analysis is very key, and this is collected from instruments such as the interviews that is done by interviewing those who know the job and those who have done the job before. Another is by going out to observe those involved in doing the work. How are they doing it? Why are they doing it that way? And which better ways can they do it? And which better equipment and machine can they use? Then which other resources do they need to do the job better? All those can be done by interviewing and observation. However, there is also another alternative which we can use, such as a large-scale data collection. This can be through emails and online surveys to collect data from various people about what is involved in doing the work and the risks involved and how to mitigate or avert these risks. We can also have questionnaires, and these can be constructed and administered to the targeted respondents so that we collect this data. The other way is to have focus group discussions where experts and non-experts are brought together to discuss on the needs of the job and what is involved in the work, and setting in order the processes and procedures that would best suit doing that work. So the existing production and workforce data can also be based on, that is the data on records, when do the people start doing the work and when did they report to have completed, how long did it take them to complete, and how much results did they generate after completing the work. And so we can have averages, or what you call means, analysis of mean positions, to make sure that while we are setting targets, work targets, we are informed of what exactly happens in the work other than having presumptions or hypothesized decisions. Rate cards can also be administered to employees to rate how much it takes to do the work, and what quality is expected after taking that time, and also how much, what is the output volume after doing that work in a specified time. they can give you what are the conditions and what are the situations surrounding that work, and what are the risks involved in the work, what are the technicalities involved in doing this work, and what best skills can be needed for someone to do the work. The rate cards and the score cards can be administered to collect data. So data collected from these sources is analyzed to guide employees to schedule their activities, provide them with tools and equipment, rewarding them, assessing the risks. We can also provide the safety resources and forming ownership, and these are ownerships. How can we guide employees to own their work, and the training them, and then how can we share information between employees and between staff, or even to the directors. How do we share information basing on results obtained from work analysis? So for now, we let us close this section here. We're going to come back with a job description and what is involved in job description. Thank you. My name is Ssebuyungo Wilber Kivekayunga, a lecturer at Nkumba University and the director of the Action Entrepreneurs.